Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 3 of Build and Grow Money Matters, a series dedicated to helping businesses go beyond financial management to achieve financial growth, resilience, and innovation. As businesses continue to revive and pivot to newer models in these tough times, Your Story is proud to partner with HSBC for yet another season. We present inspiring conversations, insights, and observations from some of the newest trendsetters in business and stalwarts of the ecosystem to help businesses power their next phase of growth and business continuity. In 2018, Zomato shared that its chicken biryani was the most ordered as well as the most picked item. In 2019, Swiggy reported that Indians ordered an average of 95 biryanis per minute or 1.6 biryanis per second. Biryani had its place in all our hearts, and today we have with us one of the kings of the biryanis out there, Kaushik Roy, founder and CEO of Biryani By Kilo. Welcome aboard, Kaushik.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling me on.
Kaushik has a consolidated experience of over 22 years in the food service industry, which has seen him heading the operations of over 200 restaurants across diverse categories and formats. Prior to launching Biryani By Kilo, Kaushik worked with Zorupa Foods, Delhi Bread Gourmet Foods, Global Franchise Architects, Mars Restaurants, and Amoreta's Retail and Pizza Express. So Kaushik, let's begin with a whole bunch of questions for you. The first one is, Biryani By Kilo has its chain spread over 50 outlets in more than 20 cities in India. How would you describe Biryani By Kilo's growth from 2015 till now? Kaushik?
So basically, in 2015, in my last job, I was in the business of investment in restaurants. And we had made an investment in Bangalore in a biryani chain. And I realized that everybody is selling biryani at that point of time. And biryani was just a part of a menu, and it was not a category at that time, like Zomato now lists as biryani as a category. So biryani was done in not the way, the authentic way. It was biryani which was made in bulk, then put in plastic containers, frozen and reheated and served. So I realized that nobody is doing biryani the way you would make it at home in a small handi with layered biryani, and you would mix the layers and then eat the biryani. So I saw a big opportunity in that area and quit my job and started this. I was very small setup in Gurgaon, a small kitchen. Very constrained on capital. Obviously, cloud kitchen was not a term coined at that point of time in 2015. It came out of a necessity because I didn't have too much of capital. So I said, I'll sell good food, but we'll deliver to customers' home. And in fact, Zomato was not there in the delivery platform. It was just a discovery platform at that point of time. Swiggy had not come to Gurgaon. They were just getting their feet wet in Gurgaon. So I launched my own portal, Biryani By Kilo, had my own delivery feed. And I said, I will deliver good food since I can't afford a retail outlet. And I've seen a lot of failures in retail front end, and I had very little capital and had to succeed. I was 47 years, I could not go wrong. So came up with the idea of individually cooking every biryani in a pot, like you would do it at home, and serving the same pot to the customer. And using the best quality ingredients, the most expensive, the rice, best quality meat, masalas coming from Kerala, and send it with a small chula and aach that you can reheat the biryani or give the final dum at your place. So that is how it all started. And I think people loved it as soon as we started, and you know the story. We are at 20 cities now, more than 50 outlets rather. I think thanks for
a terrific backstory, Kaushik. At Biryani By Kilo, you make a sincere effort to revive the Khansamla tradition of cooking by serving the biryani in handmade handis. Tell us more about this process for those of us who don't know it very well. Kaushik?
So there are, the Khansama style is the old style where we did not have recipe written down. The chefs used to just put things according to a certain estimate that they would have, correct? But come out with real good food. So basically, when I started off, I wanted to catch those recipes that they were using, and they were not literate people that would probably could create great kebabs and great biryanis. So I got hold of a bunch of people from Lucknow and from the south and got them on board. And obviously, they were not used to a corporate environment, but got them on board. And I said, you just follow your passion and cook food the way you would cook food. I will make it as a standard process. That is my job. I've done it all my life. So they would come, I would give them bowls with masalas pre-weighed in a bowl, and they would just pick up and throw it in the masala for the biryani masala for the kebab. I would subtract it from the total weight and get the recipe. That is how I converted a Khansama recipe into a process-oriented recipe which could be replicated across the board. So that is the way I started off. And those employees are still along with me, and I have huge respect for this kind of cooking that was there. Also, the Khansama style cooking is a slow cooking, and we are the only ones in the country who cook every biryani on receiving the order. We take 30 to 40 minutes to cook the biryani, and it is not prepared and kept. Only the marination is done and kept. On the order comes in, we give the fresh dum to the for the in the handi, and then send the handi to the customer. That is another thing that the Khansamas do, is cook fresh for whenever the order is there. It is not prepared and kept.
Thanks for telling us about the Khansama tradition there. Another very interesting aspect of your tradition is that you use premium basmati rice that is naturally aged by 2 years. How important is the age of the rice, 2 years, for example, when it comes to the flavor of the biryani? Kaushik?
So for everything in life, there's a shortcut and there's a long cut. So we've taken the long cut of getting the most expensive rice in the country. First of all, we are the only ones, beside five-star hotels and all, using the most expensive rice. It is natural. When I say naturally aged, it is kept in silos for 2 years to age naturally. The other way of aging rice, which most people use, is by artificially giving steam and aging it in 2-3 months' time. So the difference, obviously, as a customer, you will only know the difference after you eat it. By looking at the rice, probably will not see the difference. They look the same. But after you eat the naturally aged rice, you will never feel heavy on the stomach. For example, when you eat rice in the afternoon, you feel sleepy. That is because of the starch content. It is artificially aged by steam. But a naturally aged rice will make you feel light on your stomach. You will not feel sleepy after eating a biryani in the afternoon. That's for sure. So obviously that comes with a price when you keep it. It's like a whiskey. The longer the age of the whiskey is more expensive. So similarly for the rice as well. So that is how it is. So we use them. So we've been very, very concerned, or rather careful, in using best quality ingredients. And rice is just one of them.
That's a great story about the purity and the quality of your product. For those of us who are not foodies or not who are newbies in this space, who are foodies but newbies, can you tell us what's the difference between all these different types of biryani? Mughlai, Hyderabadi, and Kolkata biryani, for example.
Sure. So there are a lot of types of biryani. Biryani in India is not only restricted to 3 styles. Every region has a style of biryani. But the ones that we sell are the most popular ones. In fact, Hyderabad is the most popular one, followed by Lucknowi and then the Kolkata. So I'll give you the difference between all. So Hyderabadi is more, I would not say spicier, but masaledar. There's a lot of spices in various ratios. So you'll feel the flavor, and it is called a kachi biryani. So there are basically two styles of biryani, a kachi biryani and a pakki biryani. And Hyderabad is a kachi style biryani where the chicken is raw, marinated with parboiled rice and dum cooked. That is why it is called kachi, because you use raw meat in that. And whereas the Lucknowi or the Kolkata style is a pakki style where the chicken is partially cooked and the rice is partially cooked. They're mixed together and then dum cooked again. So that is the difference between kachi and pakki. But in terms of flavors, they have a different palette altogether. So Hyderabad is much more spicy or more masaladar, more masalas are used. And the Lucknowi and the Kolkata is very flavorful. They use basically yakni gravy, which is made out of stock, chicken or mutton stock, cooked, and the meat is cooked in that with a lot of flavors in them. So there are spices are lesser, but the flavors or the aromas are much higher. A lot of kevda is used in that. And the difference between a Lucknowi and a Kolkata, the Kolkata, you add boiled potatoes and boiled egg in them to differentiate from a Lucknow. So that is how the flavor palette differ and the ingredients change.
Thanks for this very educational and mouth-watering information there, Kaushik. Another aspect in this industry, of course, is safety. Can you tell us what safety aspects have you put in place while cooking, packaging, and delivering the biryanis, as well as for your dining experience?
Sure. Sorry to say this, I see a lot of people now worried about safety after this Corona has come in. And thankfully, Biryani By Kilo has been following the safety norms before Corona came in. And so we are the first one to probably come out of the pre-COVID, come out of the sales or get to the pre-COVID sales much faster, because we've been following safety norm from day one, because obviously hygiene, one of the most important things. So first of all, the handi that you get to your home is a sealed handi, which is not touched by hand. So obviously, and it is cooked at 300 degrees centigrade. So anything cooked over 60, 70 degrees centigrade is safe because there is no bacteria or viruses in them. So it's cooked at 300 degrees centigrade, sealed and sent to you. So once the ingredients are put and sealed, nobody touches it. So that is one of the most safety things. Secondly, as a practice, our hand sanitization at our outlets is done on an every hour basis through a reminder from the app. So there's a timer that goes up saying that you need to wash your hands. Everybody leaves everything they're doing in the kitchen, goes and washes their hands. So this was a practice from day one. Any HACCP certified companies also does this as a practice. So we've been doing this. Obviously, wearing caps and masks are something that people are doing now. Caps people used to wear, but mask is something that people do now. But we've been wearing mask in food prepare area, washing our hands. The riders sanitize their bikes before delivery, sanitize the bags before delivery. All of them are vaccinated as of now. We have live cameras in the kitchen, so you can log into a website, see the kitchen live and see the food being prepared, so to know how hygienic our kitchens are. Also, every rider's temperature is logged on real-time basis on the website. So once you want, if you're ordering from a certain outlet, you can go to the website, take the drop down and see who all are present on shift at that day and what is their temperatures. And there are alert system. If somebody has high temperature, is not taken on duty, is sent back home and taken given rest. So that is also, we've taken a lot of steps even before COVID, and now probably more stringent steps to ensure the safety of this. So it is much safer to eat a product, and you can be 100% sure there is no contamination on the food that is being delivered from our kitchen.
Those are some very impressive guarantees there, Kaushik. Let's turn now to some numbers. In just 6 years, you've grown your revenues, I believe, from 86 lakhs to 100 crores. Can you tell us a bit more about how you achieved this incredible feat, Kaushik?
So initially, obviously, when we started off a very low scale in Gurgaon, in NCR, National Capital Region, with one outlet. And once we saw the customers' feedback that people were loving the idea of a biryani made fresh on every order, everybody initially discouraged me, saying that people don't want to wait so much. In India, people are used to a 30-minute pizza. Nobody will order for an hour and a half or 90 minutes for a biryani. But then people started realizing that a fresh dum-cooked biryani actually takes time. It cannot be served in 20 minutes or 30 minutes to your home. And people started appreciating the difference between a fresh cooked biryani or a biryani that is reheated or assembled and served to you. So I think obviously customers have supported us over the year, and we got a lot of encouragement by seeing the kind of repeat rates of customers that came in. And we had investors' interest, take a lot of interest in the model, because it was a model that was doing well. Customers were coming back to us again and again. And we got investment from institutional investors, and which like IV Capital, who invested a lot of money in us. So we started from one outlet to two to three, and then we had an institutional investor. We started expanding rapidly. We wanted to be the leader in the country, and and the rate that we are going, hopefully we'll be the leader soon in the country. So that has been a wonderful journey. But I think thanks to our customers, our passionate employees who have been believed in what we started off, that we are going to deliver best quality biryani in the country to your homes. I think that is the one that has kept us going so far.
That's a great promise to customers, Kaushik. Tell us a bit more about cloud kitchens. You mentioned it very briefly a bit earlier, but how is this coming into your business model now, cloud kitchens?
So as I said earlier, the cloud kitchen for us was a necessity at that point of time, and I did not know the term cloud kitchen. Only it happened once Zomato became a little bit aggressive and Swiggy became aggressive. People started opening. For us, cloud kitchen came up because we had very little capital. We wanted to serve good food and deliver to the customer's home. Could not afford a dine-in at that point of time. I've seen, as you said in the beginning, that I've done over 200 restaurants. I've seen a lot of failures in my career. A lot of restaurants shut down, not because of you're not selling good food, because your location is not right. And there is no scientific way of defining a great location. It could be shut down because there's a metro construction happening, and for 6 months the road is blocked. So it is not under your control. That gave us the idea of doing a cloud kitchen. But as soon as we opened the cloud kitchen, we realized that this is a more viable model from the economics point of view, because you are saving one of the biggest expenses in the retail industry, is the rent, which is a huge percentage in the P&L. Approximately between 15 and 20% of your goes in rental. And when you take a cloud kitchen, you don't necessarily have to be on the high street. You don't need a signboard. You just need to be centrally located. You could be on the first floor. And that makes the model much more viable. And the rents are 1/3, 1/4 standard rental of that area. And you still deliver in that area with much lesser rental. That is how I think we've gone forward. But we've started doing 1 or 2 dine-in outlets in every city now, to have the customer experience the biryani sitting down in a restaurant. They can see for themselves how hygienic we are, what quality, and then they can go back home and order the biryani.
Yes. Thanks for bringing up the issue of finances there when you talked about the cloud kitchen. Let's talk a bit more about funding now, Kaushik. You've raised funding from some prominent investors. You even had one round amidst the pandemic. Can you share with us some of your lessons around fundraising?
Funding, I think everybody is raising funds now. People think it is very easy to raise funds, but it is not so easy. Investors put in money in a concept, also in the passion that the promoters show in the concept that they built. It is not about building one or two outlets. It is about being able to scale it up to 10, 15, 20 outlets over the next few years, or 100 outlets in our case. So, so the most important thing is the kind of passion the founders show in the model that is important. Second, the most important thing is the model has to be making sense in terms of business sense and making be profitable at a unit level. That is important, because if it is not profitable at a unit level, you will be multiplying a negative into more outlets. So second part is that the model has to be profitable at the unit level. The founders has to be passionate in the concept they build. And third, most important thing is customers has to like the product that you build. If you don't have repeat customers in your model, people will not come back to you and your model will not work. So this is, I think, the 2-3 filters, which is very important from an investor point of view to make investment in it. And I think in our case, all three are very good. We are committed to what we are doing and building a big business and being the leaders of biryani in the country.
Speaking of investment and growth, Kaushik, this year you have opened dine-in outlets in Gurugram and here in Bangalore also. So is there anything new we can expect from these stores? I believe, for example, that you're trying out healthier variants like quinoa biryani and even brown rice biryani. How does all this work, Kaushik?
So as we said, we started with the delivery format, and then we realized that when we went to 2-tier cities initially, like Chandigarh or Jaipur, we realized people in Delhi, we were big. We had 15, 20 outlets, so people know us by name. For a city like Jaipur, where the retail is not so expensive, the rentals are not so expensive, and people have time, there's enough parking space, people can travel easily. And it was important for them to showcase what the brand Biryani By Kilo stands for. And that is how we came up with the idea of doing one dine-in outlet in every city that we go in, so people can experience the Biryani By Kilo, whole experience, sit down and eat. And when they go back home and order from there. That is how we started off, and that is what we have been doing now lately for the last 3 years now. Off late in the last 2-3 months, we've started experimenting with various types of biryani. So we've been doing the traditional style, the Hyderabadi, Lucknowi, Kolkata. And as you rightly said, we've just recently launched the brown rice biryani, which is the healthier version, which is natural rice. So it is much healthier in terms of it has less carbs in it, more fibers. So we are doing the brown rice biryani. We've launched it limited to certain cities now. We're just experimenting and seeing how the customer reaction is. And based on the feedback that we receive, we will go ahead and launch it across all the outlets. We also want to get into a few more healthier options of biryani. So our biryani in the first place, the normal one, is also very healthy. As we said, we've naturally aged raw basmati rice. But we're going for one more step further and getting into a brown rice biryani now.
That's great to hear of your creativity in this food space, Kaushik. But one amazing thing is during the pandemic last year, you donated 40,000 plus meals, which is a terrific, commendable effort from your side. And to support the cause further, you also launched the BBK Cares campaign. Can you tell us a little bit more about these campaigns and how can people contribute to your initiatives during the pandemic?
So BBK Cares is a campaign, or rather we have dedicated one day a week to give food to underprivileged in every outlet. That we have been doing for a while. But when Corona hit us, we made it a regular activity on a daily basis. We started giving free food to people that were needy around each and every outlet. We also tied up with the NGO called Robin Hood Army and started giving food in the hospitals to the people who were needy, who did not have relatives coming into the hospital. We were supplying this. We did activity in Mumbai. A lot of celebrities also helped us in promoting this concept. So now, as a standard practice, every outlet has a corporate social responsibility of giving food to people in and around that area who are needy on a regular basis. Also, customers, if they want to contribute, we charge a small fee for one per meal, and we contribute the equal quantity of what the customer puts in on the web. So if you can go to the website and commit to the number of meals that you want to give free, we will contribute this equal amount and give the same food to the neighboring areas. And we'll put it on our Facebook and all our campaigns so that people know that we've done that. So this is an ongoing exercise. Initially, it was just restricted to once a week, but with Corona coming in, we now do it on a regular basis.
That's a very inspiring story of BBK Cares. Kaushik, let's turn now to some more questions about the future. A recent FICCI PwC report pegged the Indian organized biryani delivery industry at around rupees 2,500 crores per annum. And according to food delivery apps, it is among the most popular dishes ordered. So keeping that in mind, what's your future plans in India? What are some of your plans maybe to go to overseas markets, for example, Kaushik?
Yes, you're right. As you rightly said, I think because biryani in the last few years have become very, very popular. And this is, and there's no incumbent leader as of now, unlike a pizza or a burger like a Domino's or a Burger King, McDonald's. So there is no incumbent leader in the biryani category so far. And if their leader has to come, it has to come from India because it's a product that comes from India. So we aspire to be the incumbent leader over a period of time. But in terms of short-term goal, we are looking to be across all cities in India and get to 100 outlet by next year. December is the target that we have. We are at 50 now. We should be able to get to 100 by next year and or cross that number by next year for sure. And thereafter, look at international markets. There are some obvious markets, the Southeast Asia market, which is very people eat rice a lot. So we will look at those markets, and hopefully one day we will become the leader of biryani. And it comes from India. India should feel proud of that.
That's a very inspiring vision you have there, Kaushik. Now, for the last two questions, I want to ask you a little bit about money. The name of this show is Money Matters, of course. So, my question to you now is what is your relationship with money? You talked about it professionally, but maybe personally, even philosophically. How do you think of money? How do you approach money? What do you want money to do for you in your future, etc.? Kaushik?
So if you ask me personally, I've been, my career has been ranged for many years and I've grown up the ranks. I started my career as a waiter. So I've seen very little money coming in my initial career and then grew up to become a CEO of companies and all. So I had a small habit of making a small P&L for the 2,000 rupees salary also when I used to draw 27 years back and whatever money that I grew as a CEO of a company. And I still go back and look at time, obviously that time Excel was not there. It was in a notebook. I used to make those P&Ls. And I still have the habit of making, and until a few years back, 15 years back when I used to draw 35,000 rupees salary and Excel was there. I still have those Excels safely kept with me. So every month I have a discipline of making a budget based on the money that I earn and what are the expenses I'm going to do and what savings I'm going to do. So that discipline has helped me. I'm a very disciplined man when it comes to spending money. I'm not a miser. That is, don't get me wrong when I make a P&L, but I want to track whatever expenses that happen. That is very, very important so that you can always look back and improve on things that you should not have got done. It's not that you don't splurge. Yes, we splurge personally also or buy things that you want to enjoy once in a while. But it is very important to know that could you have done without it or not. This is something my father taught me and I try and follow it very strictly. And I still make a P&L of my own. Like any organization or for the organization that I do it, I still have a personal P&L. And I love doing it. It just takes 10, 15 minutes of my time, but I think it's worth it.
Those are some very interesting insights on fiscal discipline, Kaushik. I think our audience would greatly appreciate that, especially in this day and age. And my last question for you is, you've worked a lot with investors, bankers, and so on. So what's it like to work with this banking community? What can they do better to work with entrepreneurs like yourself and maybe the ones in the audience? Kaushik?
So I think, so there are two types of investors or bankers, whatever you would call it. So one are which are hands-off. When I say hands-off, is somebody who believes in the concept, sees the bigger vision and puts in the money and trusts your judgment and gives an overall direction of how you should be going. But the day-to-day operation is left to the individual to run it. So because he knows his business better. And the other set of investors are investors who put in the money and also put in a lot of their time and get involved like a hardcore operations guy. If I am given a preference because I would like a hands-off person, yes, I would need a lot of guidance based on the experience of various sectors that they have, learnings of different investments that they make that we should replicate. But the day-to-day or nitty-gritty should be given left to the founders to run the business because I think they have a more understanding of the pulse of the business, which cannot be done on an Excel, which is obviously we are a brick and mortar business. So we learn it on the ground. And I have been on the ground all my life. So I would like to be a hands-on person and have somebody just guide me. I think that is the kind of investor that I would probably be.
Thanks for your insights today, Kaushik. I think three key takeaways for me are the three S's: style, safety, and service. Pay a lot of attention to style, especially in industries like cuisine and gourmet food and so on. Secondly, safety in this pandemic era is extremely important. And thirdly, service. Make sure you give outstanding service, whether it's B2B or B2C and so on. Kaushik, thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you all the best in your journeys ahead. Thank you.
It is a pleasure being with you. Have a nice day.